What is up, everyone? My name is Andrew, and I'm bringing you another one-on-one with a cinephile, and this is The Predator. So after a couple of weeks, the reviews are in, and it's not very positive, apparently. A weak script, very slow structure, a so-so plot, a horrible third act. There were a lot of critics and reviewers that were not kind to this movie. So why do I like it so much? Being out for a number of weeks already, I'm going to go ahead and get into spoilers, so you've been warned. I'm also going to touch base on lore and characters that are not really associated with the movie. This is stuff that was in comic books, graphic novels, and video games. First off, the predator species is known as Yautja. I'm going to refer to these characters as Yautja to make it simple, and so I'm not repeating the word predator every 30 seconds. So the plot of the movie revolves around two Yautja predators. The rogue Yautja, and basically the mercenary Yautja chasing him. His destination is Earth, and for one reason or another, he crash lands and falls upon a small group of mercenaries behind enemy lines. He dispatches of the mercenaries. I am assuming that these men tried to attack it or kill it, so the Yautja does what it does best and kills these men, leaving only one survivor, the main character of the film, McKenna. A huge explosion happens. The Yautja is knocked out. McKenna, fleeing for his safety, grabs a couple of predator weapons to prove he's not crazy, and flees the scene. The bad guys abduct the rogue Yautja. They want to do experiments on it. They want to do stuff with its DNA. They want to take its technology. They know there's a ship somewhere, but they can't seem to find it. They recruit Olivia Munn's character. I don't really remember why. Eventually, the military catches up to McKenna. So to save himself, he ships the Predator technology to himself across the country. He is detained, he is debriefed, he is warned that he did not see what he saw. You cannot repeat what you saw or you will be prosecuted and maybe even killed. He understands. He thinks that he's going to be released, but eventually he gets set on this bus and basically taken to what I assume is a mental institution for prisoners of war, soldiers with PTSD, etc., because this is where we're introduced to the rest of the cast of characters, known affectionately as the Loonies. The box of Predator technology is shipped to his house where his son opens it up. He assumes they're toys, so he begins to play with the Predator technology. Unbeknownst to him, he accidentally sets off a tracking device or homing beacon to the mercenary Yautja in space. He is now able to land and locate this technology. For those of you who are unaware, this child has Asperger's syndrome and has acquired a certain level of intelligence. He is bullied for it, and he is known as a social outcast because of how weird he is. The moment the mercenary Yautja lands on Earth, this wakes up the rogue Yautja and basically goes ballistic on all of the scientists that were studying him and working on him in the laboratory. He is trying to flee because he knows what is chasing after him. The boys on the Looney bus notice the Predator fleeing the laboratory and running away. They come to the conclusion that they would like to kill it because it's an alien, because why not? The rogue Yautja now is trying to track the boy to get his technology back so he can flee. The loonies are now chasing after the rogue Yautja to prevent the Yautja from killing the boy to get his technology. And of course, the bad soldiers are now chasing after the loonies and the rogue Yautja. It's all really a question of who's going to get there first. Eventually, the rogue Yautja catches up. He gets some of his technology, and in comes the mercenary Yautja. This creature is 11 feet tall. He dwarfs the rogue Yautja, and a fight breaks out between the two creatures. At this point in time, the loonies are able to acquire the boy and get him out of there, get him to safety. The fight between these two alien creatures does not last very long because the 11-foot Yautja just completely destroys the rogue Yautja in seconds. And then upon doing this, he rips the head and spine away from the rogue Yautja. So now we only have the one. Since his mission of dispatching of the rogue has been complete, his next job is to acquire his technology and get his ship, so we can't use it for whatever reason. The boy still has some of the technology, and the rogue Yautja actually wants the boy because of his high intelligence, because of Asperger's. He wants to basically take him and splice his DNA with his own. Before I get any further into this, I want to say, in comic books and video games and the lore of the Yautja and the Yautja homeworld, there are warring factions on their planet. There are some driven toward more their technology and their weaponry, and then there are others more driven to the biology, like splicing DNA of their fallen victims into their body and making themselves better and improving upon themselves. And then there could be a series of other factions, but we have to stick to these two because these two are the ones that are in this movie. You're supposed to be led to believe that this species is responsible for global warming on this planet. Because they're trying to terraform our planet, they are going to eventually invade it. That is the whole point of this movie. The rogue Yautja wanted to give us a weapon to help destroy the predator species. That's what the essential plot of this movie is about. So now the race begins to get to the rogue Yautja ship that has that great weapon to stop this species from invasion. Supposedly, that's what all this is about. The humans fail because they're too busy fighting each other. The mercenary Yautja gets there first, and before he decides to take off, he wants to have an old-fashioned hunt and kill all of these humans. And he gives them, I want to say, a 10-second head start. Some will say that this is, the unbelievably horrible third act. This is shades of the original Predator. It's at night, it's dark, it's already scary. And he starts dispatching of all of these humans one by one in gruesome, bloody detail. It felt fun to me. Fun and funny. I don't know why. Maybe it's because you root for the Yautja because a lot of these humans deserve to die. A lot of the humans, don't work well together. Though ironically, the loonies work great as a team. They don't work well with other soldiers because, they're supposed to be the bad guys. The mercenary Yautja just completely destroys all of them. He was able to abduct the kid, and now he's going to hop on the ship and leave. So the remaining loonies and the father, McKenna, try to hop on the ship before it takes off. Long story short, they hop on the ship. They are able to dismantle it in some way. It crash lands. They save the kid. And now they still have this 11-foot creature to deal with. With some well-placed grenades and weapons, they're able to dispatch of this giant creature. They remove a couple of its limbs. They get up close to it, and they shoot, I want to say with a pistol, they shoot it in the head as many times as they can. And basically, the end of the movie jumps to like a week or so later. They're doing research on the ship. The kid, who has Asperger's, works for that government now, who's able to decipher alien language, and it's going to tell you how to use this alien machine. This is the last part of the movie, and this is where I actually lose interest, because I feel this was shoehorned in by the production company. It's a wrist gauntlet that once attached will basically give you Iron Man Predator armor, just like a giant action figure. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but maybe because of script leaks, they wanted to change things up a little bit. I was hearing rumors about, Dutch, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, finally coming back. He's training a group of people to attack these creatures when they eventually return. But I hear two sides of the story where Arnold doesn't want to do it because he's not going to be starring in the movie, because, he's Arnold. And the production company doesn't want him to do it because they don't want an old man to be the main attraction of this franchise. So you can take it any way you want. Either way, I thought it would have been awesome to see Dutch return in the Predator series, but, whatever. I will undoubtedly say that Shane Black knows how to write characters. I loved every member of the Loonies, and I hated to see them start getting picked off. I hated it. The characters were so good. You might have found them a little two-dimensional, but I don't care. They were funny. They worked well together. They liked each other. They were a cohesive unit, and you saw that in the original until they started getting picked off one by one. At least the Loonies tried working together so they wouldn't get picked off one by one. I know I threw a lot of information your way regarding the lore of the Predator, but I want everyone to get a generalization of the species and not just the stuff that you see in the movie. They touch base on the first two Predators as well as Alien vs. Predator. They don't mention Predators because that stuff takes place on a different planet. And I think everyone agrees that AVP Requiem was terrible. Guys, I love this movie. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I don't think it deserves the negative reviews it's getting. Take it any way you want. If you love the Predator franchise, the Predator series, you will enjoy this movie. This is a director that was in Predator, that loves the Predator myths and lore. This is a fan-made Predator film for Predator fans. Anyway, guys, my name is Andrew, and this has been another One-on-One with a Cinephile.